Fruit Battlegrounds. If you don't know what this game is, it's a one-piece battleground game where the main premise is to fight people. Pretty simple concept, but also one that can be taken very far if done properly. Recently, a good friend and fellow YouTuber named SquirrelDog12, whose channel will be in the description, check him out, brought this game to my attention, and I decided to take a look. So, after playing it a bit, is it a good game? Actually, yes. It's a bit of a mixed bag with some flaws in it, but overall, there's a lot of polish that clearly shows experience and knowledge from the developers of the game. As with any game review, I'll be going over the good parts of the game before digging into the bad and what should be improved. Then, at the end, I'll pile everything together and help you decide whether this game is worth your time. So, without further ado, let's get started with the review of Fruit's Battleground. Okay, so to start off with the good stuff, this game is visually perfect. The models look amazing, the VFX is great, the map is spectacular, and the animations are smooth. In terms of visuals, this game is just pure perfection. There's nothing in this game that doesn't look polished with clear effort. It's easy to see just how much work the developers of the game put into all of these different things, and I'm very impressed with the graphics. There's even a unique death screen whenever you die, that shows who you die to. What makes it even more impressive is that all of these different things require different skill sets. Making VFX requires specific knowledge, making models requires specific knowledge, and so on and so forth. For this game to have a consistent level of quality for every single visual aspect is amazing, and just goes to show how much effort the developers put into making the game. Moving on from the surface level things like visuals, let's dig into the most important part of a PvP game, which is the combat. For the most part, everything runs super smoothly and feels great. Dashing is well done, blocking is responsive, and the movement mechanics feel good. You get double jumps and dashes that make it easy to get around, as well as a blocking mechanic that lets you deal with the massive AoE projectiles that would normally ruin a game. There's also plenty of diversity with the fruits in the game, and for the most part, they're pretty balanced, at least until you get to the epic fruits, but we'll talk about those later. You get codes that will usually give you enough shards to get a rare fruit, and even if you don't get a rare fruit, the common and uncommon fruits are more than strong enough to hold their own in combat. This is one of the few games where everything is genuinely good, despite having a rarity system, so congratulations to the developers for doing the system properly. In addition to this, combat has a very fast-paced feel to it that revolves around moving, attacking, and blocking at the right times. Some attacks are blockable, while some will break your guard, leaving you open to a combo. The combat is so smooth that you can even boss raid if you're good enough, which is usually a positive thing. Since the premise of this game is so simple though, there really isn't too much to talk about other than the fact that there was clear effort and thought put into the game. So, let's move on to the game's flaws. Fruit's Battleground, despite all of its polish, does have some issues. Firstly, there are definitely balance issues when it comes to the epic and legendary fruits. Light and Flame both have ridiculously strong AoE projectiles, Gravity has whatever the hell this crap is, and it just goes on and on. While the other fruits are strong enough to kind of survive and hold their own, the power difference is very noticeable. Maybe do a little bit of nerfing to these fruits because they're insane, like legitimately just ridiculous. Anyways, there are some other issues besides balance, because runners are a total pain to deal with. While it is true that most fighting games struggle with the issue of runners, Fruit Battlegrounds is even worse because this game revolves around big AoE projectiles. If you're playing Dark, which is exclusively a close range moveset, you kind of just lose against everyone. There are ways to counter runners though, so I can't necessarily take off too many points for it. However, movesets like Dark are completely useless against runners, and I would really like to see an anti-runner move in every single moveset. There is one really horrible issue with runners though, that I'd like to talk about though, and it's fruit flights. If you get low, you can literally just fly away from a fight, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it. Like, literally nothing. It's a get out of jail free card that has no counter, except having another fruit that also has flight, and chasing them down perfectly, which can sometimes be a pain. Really terrible oversight, and I genuinely hope the devs fix this. It's a minor issue though, and it really only applies to stuff like Flame and Light, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about it. Now, there is a level system in the game which you use to unlock moves, and this issue is one that's a lot less black and white. On the one hand, this system does give players an incentive to actually play, and gives them something to look forward to. However, on the other hand, high levels do mean balance issues, and over-leveled players can basically delete anyone below them. Yeah, it's not perfect unfortunately, and I wouldn't outright remove the system, since I agree that having a level system is necessary for this game, but it is something to think about. Something else I'd like to see is for M1s to be a bit more useful. Because of how fast the combat is, and how much jumping in the air people are doing, it's very hard to actually land an M1. Because of this, they're kind of useless outside of combos. However, once you get someone in a combo, you can pretty easily ensure their death depending on what you're using. Dark has a ridiculous one-shot combo that makes up for its range limitations, and for some hilarious reason, you can sort of infinite combo people on walls. That last part about the infinite combo should probably be fixed, but M1 should also be given a bit more viability in neutral. As for the last thing I'd like to see, there should be more things to do in the game, besides run around and fight people. A ranked 1v1's game mode, capture the flag, whatever you can think of. This game has so much potential with a great foundation, but there's not a lot to do. In a way, it reminds me a bit of Rogue Demon to an extent. Everything you need to make a good fighting game is there, but there's not enough fun game modes to explore. If there were other game modes, this game would have a lot more depth than just being another sandbox fighting game, and it'd be great. Long story short, please make more game modes. You've got a good foundation, now it's time to build. So, taking all this into consideration, is Fruit Battleground worth your time? Well, I'd honestly say yes. This game looks visually amazing, and if your main criteria for a game is having it look good, then Fruit Battleground nails it. This game has smooth combat with good movement mechanics that make it fun to play. While there's not enough to keep you entertained for long, Fruit Battleground is a spectacular game for those looking for a short but fun experience. If you've got friends to play with, you'll definitely have a blast messing around with each other. Even if you don't have friends, you could probably have a good time messing around on your own. Overall, Fruit Battleground is great, and if you want to have a bit of dumb fun, go ahead and give it a try. Now, with that being said, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe since it helps out a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. As always, I'm New Eternally, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye!